files example we have taken from a C program. C program, if we write a program in C language, and if we want to open a file or close a file from a C program, I've given this example. If I want to open a file or if I want to close a file, we have done this program in the lab also in C language and C++. C language and C++, we have done this example. We have two things, process, file opening, file closing from a C program. So C program, while running a C program itself is a process. Again, for this, it has to open another file. So for opening a file, again, it requires another process. So that is what is the program, the C++ program, which is getting executed. That is a parent process. While running, while executing, it is opening another file and writing the contents. If you remember in C++ or C language, we have seen opening a file, closing a file, writing the contents into the file. Remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So one file getting another, one process doing another program. So that is the main program, C++ program, when it is getting executed, it is opening another program. So another program is a child process. So one process creating another process for doing the work. That is, the C++ program here is a parent process, and the opening of a file and writing the content is a child process. I think I have explained you this example yesterday. I've given you a clear example of this, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like this is just as simple like this. Many things will be going on inside a computer. Like this, many things are going to happen. There'll be many number of parent processes and many number of child processes. So all these parent and child processes which are getting executed, what it has to do is parent can do two things. It can create a process, it can terminate a process. Parent process can be created, child process can be created by the parent, and it also can be terminated by the parent. So we have two things. So child process, once it is created, it can execute the things. After execution, it can, once it is successfully completed, it can exit it, it can terminate by itself, or it can also be terminated by the parent. So for a process, we have two things. Operations inside a process, we have two things. Process creation, process termination. Followed?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here, whenever we take a process, we have two things. As I've said, process creation and process termination. Process creation is a parent creating a child process. Process termination is one process getting terminated by another process. Child process getting terminated by the parent or anything. That is, process termination is, it is an operation which performs the termination of a process, of another process, after executing the things. Okay, ma? Follow this, everybody?
Sir, if parent class is deleted, what will happen to all child classes, sir, remaining?
If parent, yesterday I've given you two things. Yesterday when I was explaining the termination, I've said two things. First one is, child will be terminated automatically by the parent. Second one is, if child is not terminated, then it is called as orphan. That is, if parent is terminated but child is not terminated, then that process is called as orphan process. Yesterday I said two things, orphans and Zambia. If the parent is terminated but child is not terminated, then the process is called as orphan. That is, it is, or you know the meaning of orphan, right? Everybody knows the meaning of orphans. Orphans means where they don't have any parents. And there is also one more case which is called as Zambia. If no parent is there, then the termination is happening. Okay. If no parent is waiting, but the termination of the process is happening. then that is called as zombie. That is a new term actually, zombie. ZOMBIE. Yesterday I given you these two terms. At the last I gave you these two terms. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. Then in this, what we have is one more thing. What we have is we have something called as inter-process communication. Okay. What is this inter-process communication? Let me explain you this one first. Zombie, are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or let me explain you with a much better diagram so it will be clear. Just a minute. Yes, I share the screen. Are you able to see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the example of Zambia. Okay, here I'm having parent process and I'm having a child process. Okay, so parent process, once the parent process has executed, it has been put in wait and it has started with the child process. To start a child process, we have a function called fork. Yesterday I was explaining you this also. So fork is a function which is used to create a child process. Once a child process is created, it is going to execute. So as it is getting executed, here what is happening is the child process is terminated by itself. The child process got terminated by itself. Okay, but it did not move back to the parent process. Once the child process is terminated, the things have to move back to the parent process. That is a normal procedure, right? But it was not able to move back to the parent process. So that situation is what we call as zombie. Okay, that is the parent process is still waiting for the things to occur, but it is not able to get an information from the child process. The child process, parent process is not able to get the information. So those kind of situations are what we call as zombie. Clear now? Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next, what we have is something called as inter-process communication. Inter-process communication is nothing but one process communicating with another process. Why they have to communicate first of all? What is the reason for inter-process communication? Anybody will be able to answer this? Yes, ma'am.
For transferring information or data.
Transfer information of data, good, okay. Anything else? Anything else, anybody?
For better execution.
Sorry, ma, I did not get you.
For
Speed.
better execution, sir. Like for the fast execution.
Okay, to some extent it is fine. Anything else? Okay, fine. I'll tell you. Inter-process communication, normally we'll call this as IPE. Okay, IPC, inter-process communication. Okay, it is mainly used for exchange of data, as our friend said. It is mainly used for exchange of data between a threads or a process. Thread I have explained you, if you remember the term thread. Earlier I have explained you the term thread, and you will be coming across this term thread also in Java as well. Okay, you will be seeing here you will be studying on a theoretical point of view, but in Java you will be having programmatical point of view, how to create a thread. You will be having a program also. So when the data has to be exchanged between one or more process, then that is what we call as inter-process communication. Okay, why we have to exchange the data? Okay, the reasons for exchanging of data. Okay, first one, if we take this exchange of data, suppose a simple example I'll tell you. If we take the same example, I'm opening a file from C++. Once I've opened the file, that I need to write some information into the file. I need to write the information to the file. So if I have to write the information into the file, it has to come from C++ only, right? From C++ only, I've opened a file. Everybody getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From
Yes,
C++ only, I have to open the file, and from C++ only, I have to write the information. So for C++ is a parent process for which a child process is created. Now after opening the file, I need to write the information. So the data has to move from parent process to child process. That is what is called as exchanging of data among the process. Suppose I've opened a file and I have to read the data from the file. We have a reading also, if you remember, writing and reading of data to the file and from the file. If I have to read the data, there also exchange has to happen. Data exchange to happen in that also. Yes or no? So data or information sharing from the parent to child or child to parent or one process to another process which is not linked. It can be anything. That is what is called as inter-process communication. And as you can see here, it is going to speed up the things. It is going to do modularity, and it is going to improve the convenience of the system. And when we come to this, here we'll be having two things in inter-process communication. One is shared memory, and other one is message passing. Okay, we have two things. One is sharing of memory of the things. That is, if the parent process is able to share the memory with the child process. Normally, a child process can access the resources of the parent process. So that is what is called as sharing of memory. Otherwise, if the data is sent from one process to another process, then that is called as message passing. Again, in message passing, we'll be having two things: sending process, and the receiving process. Okay, so there we'll be having again many things. Okay, we'll see all those things later. So this is what we have in the inter-process communication: sharing of the things, sharing of memories, sharing of the resources, sharing of the things. Like this, we have many things over here. Followed, ma? Everybody?
Yes, sir.
What is inter-process
Yes, sir.
communication? What is inter-process communication? Akhil, can you tell me what is inter-process communication?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is inter-process communication, ma?
Means it is sharing the data like a process, including the data.
Yeah.
System may be independent or corporate.
Fine, okay. So here we'll be having two things. Inter-process communication can be done in two ways. One is by using shared memory. One is by using message passing. Okay. So I'll show you one diagram. So here we are having two process A and child process B. So process A is sharing the memory with process B. Okay. So the shared memory has been accessed by process A and it has also been accessed by process B in the diagram, in the second diagram. Whereas in first one, we have something like message queues. I'll explain you what is this message queue. That is message passing, we can say. So from process A, message is going to message queue. From here, it is going to read by the process B. So this is how they are going to be differentiated: sharing of memory or message queues. Clear? Followed this, everybody? Able to get this, ma, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
First, let me take the attendance, then I'll continue with the class.